Hey crafty friends, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a really awesome day. I am super excited because Reverse Confetti asked me to be a guest designer for the month of March and April. So some of the products I'm sharing, this is their new release. This is the Sending Smiles stamp and coordinating die, the Springtime Sentiments, which has tons of great sentiments, and then the Layered Mom with Frame die. So these are the products I'm going to be using for today. So I'm going to die cut that frame once from white cardstock because we're going to do some ink blending on this. So I taped that in place, ran that through my die cut machine, and this frame is so cute. It has like this double stitched double stitched row around, and then it has that fun wavy edge. So really, really a cute die. So I am using the Waffle Flowers mini stencil mat to hold this in place. This is perfect. I'm also using Simon Says Stamp spring ink for this frame, and I'm just going to ink heavy at the top and then work my way down in an ombre effect. So I'm going to be leaving the bottom part of this white. So like I said, darker at the top, lighter at going towards the bottom. And I'm just going to finish inking that up. I have a little bit of splotchy area at the top. But then this turned out so pretty. This is going to be a very spring heavy card with the colors, and these flowers are so cute. So this is the Sending Smiles stamp set. So this is like a layering stamp set. It has the outline here, which I'm going to use some black ink on, and I'm on some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. And I'm going to stamp this a few times. I'm actually going to stamp this 5 times. So I'm going to have 5 different flowers. But I'm just going to show you real quick the 2 color combinations that I will be using for this card. So once I finish stamping all of these outline images, then I'm going to come in with the solid image. So it's going to fill in the flowers, the leaves, and that little round circle is the centers to the flowers. So I'm just going to line this up, and for this first color of the flower is Simon Says Stamps Pawsitively inks. That's what all the inks I'm using. This is going to be Guava. And then for the leaves, it will be Fairway. And for the centers, it will be Lemonade. Then I will come in with a second color when I add the detail stamp. So the third layer of stamps adds this cute dot detail to the flowers and the centers of the flowers, and then the vein down the center of the leaf, we will add a different color for that. So I've got a lighter color and then a darker color coming in. Okay, so for this next flower combination, the first color is going to be Carnation. So I'm going to ink that up while I ink up the other leaf and the centers. You could actually stamp all of these images at one time and then close the MISTI, if that makes sense, if you ink up each one of the images with different colors. I'm not sure why I didn't do that this first time around, but when I did my second piece of cardstock off camera, I did it that way, and it does go much faster. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in these detailed stamps. So for that first flower combination, it was Guava, and then I'm going to bring in Watermelon for the flower. For the leaves, I'm going to bring in Field, and for the centers, I'm going to bring in Sunbeam. But look at those cute little dots. It's so darling. I just think these flowers are so cute and so much fun, and this just absolutely screams spring. So now I did want to say I'm going to have a few more videos. There's going to be a blog hop because this is their release month, and then in April I will have a few more projects from Reverse Confetti also. So I'm super excited. So shout out to Reverse Confetti. Thank you so very much. I am so glad to be a guest designer. Okay, so now that little centerpiece that comes from that die cut frame, while I was coloring the flowers, I was thinking about what I wanted to do because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do on the inside. So I prepped this background piece with an anti-static powder tool. I took that little leaf stamp, the outline stamp, stamped the background with clear embossing ink, and then I'm coming in with some white embossing powder. So I'm going to do some white on white basically, I'm going to heat that through with my heat tool until it's melted and it's nice and shiny. And then I'm going to do some ink blending again on that using that same spring ink from Simon Says Stamp. And then that's going to pop out all of those little leaf stamps that we just stamped. And it's going to be super, super cute. I just felt like we needed a little something extra on the background. A little, I don't know, a little something extra for the eyes. So here I'm going to do that same ombre inking, heavier at the top and then just going lighter towards the bottom and then leaving the bottom completely white. And I want it to be about the same amount that's on the frame. So I'm going to line it up and make sure that I've inked it about the same, which I did. Okay, so I have a white A2 size card base and I'm taking some foam tape behind my frame. I want this to have some dimension. You also could just die cut this frame a few times and stack them together and glue them together, and that would give you some dimension as well. So I'm going to adhere that to the card base, and then I will bring in that centerpiece that we did the white heat embossing and inking on and just adhere that down. So the frame will be popped up, but this back piece will be flat, so you'll have some dimension between the two pieces, which I think is a lot of fun. So now let's get these flowers adhered. Some of these flowers will have some foam tape behind them, some of them won't. I think actually only one of these flowers has enough foam tape behind it and that part's adhered to the frame that it's going to be a little bit taller than the rest of the flowers. The flowers that are hanging over to the center part will have some foam tape underneath them on that center part for the most part on this card, because you don't want that part to go flat. So like for instance, that flower there has some foam tape that's going to be adhered to the center part, not the frame part, if that makes sense. Then I'm going to tuck in the leaves. I'm just kind of figuring out my design here of where I want some flowers. I definitely want to use all 5 flowers. And the pink and the green I think is so spring and so pretty. And then you have that little pop of yellow with the centers. Now the 2 different colors of pink aren't so crazily far apart from each other, but there definitely is a difference, which I think is a ton of fun. So I'm going to finish adhering those flowers, tuck in these leaves, and then we will glue down the centers, and then we have to stamp the sentiment. Now I'm going to be using the sentiment from the Springtime Sentiments, and there is quite a few great, like, I'm not huge sentiments, but larger size sentiments. They're not super tiny, which is a lot of fun. And I'm going to use the Hello Spring on this, and I'm stamping that with some black ink onto some white cardstock. I used the Misty for that so I could stamp it a couple times to get a good crisp image. And then I'm just going to use my paper trimmer to trim this out. And then I can add some foam tape behind that. And I'm going to adhere that towards the bottom of my card design because I don't want to cover up the little white embossed leaves on the background. So here's a little bit of that foam tape. I actually added a little too much and it was going to cover up onto the flowers, which was going to make it kind of wonky. So I just trimmed some of that down and then adhered that towards the bottom. Then I want to finish off this card with some beautiful seafoam pearls. And they are a green color and they are beautiful. So I'm going to add a few of those around and just use some liquid glue to adhere those. And then this card is finished and I love how it turned out. And these stamps and dies are so darling from Reverse Confetti. I mean, look at how cute this is. I also want to say you could trim off the excess around this card if you like, but you don't have to. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my channel, like, comment, share. I do have everything listed and linked below for you to check out. You can also check it out on my blog. And thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.